Hello, everybody. I'm Jay Lynn, and today I'm feeling pretty excited because we're going to head back to Spawn here. I gave myself the criteria of starting fresh and living over here for 500 days, and we're actually closer to 600 at this point, so I'm looking forward to heading out west where it all began and just kind of bringing our world together here and leveling up a little bit, getting an Elytra and all my old gear. Really looking forward to it. We'll also get started on a underwater area that I've kind of had planned out. But before I head out there, I wanted to spend a little time here and get rid of some of these torches, because torches are kind of an eyesore once you get a nice pretty base built up, and I've been procrastinating on getting rid of these. So I spent a couple days running around getting rid of all the torches and just replacing them with lanterns and jack-o'-lanterns hiding in the ground. And yeah, definitely just cleans things up and makes things look a lot better. And I'll kind of do that all over the place off camera a little bit from here on out. But anyways, I retired my gear there. We'll probably put that in a museum somewhere as our Season 2 gear. And don't worry, we're not leaving for good by any means. We'll be back here plenty. This episode we're just going to kind of spend over at the spawn area. But yeah, first time seeing this since you have. And it feels good to be back. It always feels good coming home from a Minecraft adventure, and I'd say this has been a pretty long adventure, so this feels extra good. And I'm aware that a lot of you have just been following Season 2 and probably didn't even watch Season 1, so I'm pretty excited to kind of show you this area here. And I almost forgot how cool it was. And the vibe around here, just with the villagers running around, is just really a special point to get to in your world. And I've only gotten to this point. This is only the second time I've ever had the villagers running around like this, and obviously just on a much bigger scale than I ever had before. And yeah, just really liking that, man. Something I'm gonna try to do all over the world and all the different places I build. And yeah, I'm aware last episode was kind of a tour style episode, so I don't want to go on too long of a tour here, but I will do a quick little walk around just to kind of refresh people's memories who haven't been here as long as I have, and just, like I said, show it to the people that didn't follow Season 1. And yeah, this is the last thing we built, so I hadn't even had a chance to really enjoy this much. Yeah, pretty much right by the time I finished the island here, I moved away, so it's going to feel good to enjoy it for a little bit. And yeah, I got our main spawn area up there, and our beach area down here, and this is honestly probably one of my favorite builds in the whole world so far, this little beach area. Just something different than I've ever really built before, and I just really liked how it came out here. But yeah, the spawn area up here is something really special as well. And yeah, just a lot like our treehouse area. We got our micro farms up here, and just kind of a nice efficient area up here. We got our sheep farm over here, which I went a lot bigger here than I'm going to in the treehouse area. I haven't even built the farm yet. I got the barn built for it, but yeah, just walking around here feels so good. Like I said, I got this all built up and just moved away, and yeah, after being away for a few months, you kind of forget how cool I had it up here. And we got this little task board, which I did a pretty bad job and kind of neglected it, but we're going to revisit that this episode. Yeah, just our starter farm and windmill over there, and starter base here, which is probably my favorite build still in the whole world here. And yeah, if you didn't watch Season 1 and haven't seen the world tour, I recommend watching the world tour and get a nice little detailed look at the area up here. And you can see we got a room dug out underwater here, which we'll be revisiting that this episode as well, kind of figuring out the concept for what we want to do down there. And yeah, this was our final base that we were living in for about the second half of the season, or a little more. And yeah, this big open interior was a real cool place to live. And I left everything in my chest that I had on me when I moved over there, so this chest is where we left off. And it feels good to be swapping this out here. I know it's kind of a big jump and might catch some people off guard, but I really was only geared up for maybe 5 months of season 1, so it's like I really didn't even play with my stuff for that long before I went and started completely fresh, so I don't feel too bad about it, and it's gonna feel nice to fly again. Go ahead and see how many rockets it takes to get back to our treehouse area here, and I'll kind of try to figure out a path for a road that I'm gonna want just kind of going across here and bridging across the islands and be a cool little oceanside path. It's going to be a big project. I don't know when I'll actually do that. It's almost 2,000 blocks, so it's not going to be very fun, but it is something I want to get done, have everything connected. And yeah, you can see we're really not that far. 3 rockets, probably 4 actually on average, I would say. And yeah, this will be my first time doing a nice little flyover here. I have been in creative mode many times, obviously, or in a creative copy. This whole world is in survival, but flying over with your elytra is just something kind of different. And getting this first flight through here, flying through the microfarms here, real fun. And this area has just got so much potential as well. And while I was over here, I wanted to fly through the caves a little bit, because that's been something I've been thinking is going to be really cool. I've never lived in a cave. I've never really been in a cave system that you can fly around like this in. I've never lived in a cave system, actually. But yeah, this is pretty awesome here. Definitely could get used to that. But yeah, then I made my way back to spawn and put in a whole bunch of work getting my gear mended up, because although it is nice getting all this new gear, most of it was pretty low, and I don't have an XP farm or anything, so I might be upgrading in gear, but I'm still not that advanced in my world for as long as I've been in it. But so for now, trading with villagers is the best way to get XP, so I pretty much use my farmers and my stonemasons, because I got a couple farmers with the really good 1 pumpkin for an emerald trade and cheap golden carrots, and trading the clay with the stonemasons and buying the bricks is probably 2 of my favorite ways to trade and just get a little XP. So I spent, I don't remember how many Minecraft days here, and I spent some of the nights hunting a little bit, trying to kill a few creepers here and there just so I can keep stocked on gunpowder a little bit now that I have rockets again. Then I spent a little time breeding up my animals, thinking that that's a decent way to get a little bit of XP, but it's actually not very good. Wasn't really worth it, but while I was up here, I popped my head into our animal sanctuary here. Just give you a peek at this if you hadn't seen it, and I think this area is awesome here. Got our sniffer over here. I really look forward to expanding on this concept in some areas of the cave that I've been building in, actually. But while I was at it, I did go ahead and do some serious breeding. It's always nice getting some leather here and there. But like I said, the best way to get XP and mend your tools up is trading with villagers. At least the best way for me right now. And yeah, feels good to be all mended up, geared up. Like I said, kind of a shock to the system for some of you, I imagine, but I'm pretty excited for this level up here. Mainly just because it should make it a little easier for me to get these episodes out, and I'm trying to up my pace in that aspect a little bit, so I'm looking forward to this upgrade here and hoping it's somewhat of a turning point in the season here. But to do as much building as I plan on doing in the upcoming episodes, I need to use this episode to kind of get stocked up a little bit, because that's one area I'm not doing very good over here. I do have this chest full of a bunch of handy blocks, but for the most part, I'm not as well stocked for as long as I played in this area over here. I was pretty much just building as fast as I gathered all the blocks, so I don't have any mass of any type of blocks at this point. So I also had kind of gotten organized with a ender chest storage system here, and I'm going to really try to get in the habit of using that, because that can really just make things a lot more efficient instead of having to travel back and forth. That's one thing you guys don't see much of me doing is my world is so spread out. Like, I do a lot of just going back and forth between different areas. Takes a minute or two sometimes, and just, that all adds up. So yeah, using the storage system will be good. And I'm going to add a few shulker boxes to that so that I can do some serious gathering this episode here. Starting by heading out to the mesa. I've gone this whole time so far in Season 2 without any terracotta. But I do have an upcoming build that definitely is going to require some terracotta, so good timing for me to be able to come back to the mesa here since I didn't seem to find one in my adventures so far this season. And yeah, I spent a good couple nights out here just getting a whole bunch of terracotta, and I was fine with getting a whole bunch of different colors because I plan on using a lot of these colors actually. And yeah, I got 2 shulker boxes full. Went ahead and transferred it back to my storage area and just trying to get a double chest full of a bunch of usable materials. So continuing with that, I went back and got a bunch of sand, starting with some red sand just because it's kind of fun to have some of. So I got a shulker box of that. Then I headed out to the actual desert and got a bunch of regular sand because I'm going to want a bunch of that as well this episode actually. Mining sand is always satisfying, and we got about 2.5 shulkers full counting the red sand, so we'll take it. I plan on using a lot of glass and also going to need a bunch of sand for the underwater area we're getting going on here in just a second, and I'm also going to need some coral, so I head out to the giant coral reef area we got over here and spent a little time gathering things up. And I'm just kind of taking from the edge so there isn't a big hole of no coral reef in the big coral area. But this is just a giant coral reef, so it doesn't really matter. But I do try to work from the outside in just so it still looks nice in the natural world. While I was putting stuff away, I got attacked by a phantom, and I wasn't too worried about it. I was all geared up. Thought I'd just finish what I was doing and jump back in the water, but then a creeper got me, knocked me in the water. Then my recording cuts out right here, right at the wrong time when a phantom dived in the water and got me. I didn't know they could do that. And this was a pretty annoying death actually, because I had to go 2,000 blocks north and 1,000 blocks west from that, so this ended up being a very long adventure. One of my worst deaths so far for sure, but I'm thankful that I am yet to have a death where I lost all my main gear, so hopefully that luck sticks around. I did almost lose my shovel on this one. I couldn't find it and I almost ran out of time, but I ended up finding it under the coral there. I did finish up by getting just a little bit more. Not a full shulker box or anything, but definitely plenty to work with. Yeah, just dump my stuff off back at the storage, and we're definitely feeling better about where we're at. But before we get building down here, I wanted to revisit the task board here for a second. Got some catching up to do up here. Like I said, I've kind of neglected this, and yeah, we got our Jungle Mountain and the Pirate Cove, which at this point are probably something we'll do in Season 3. But there are a few things we finished. We got our bee farm built. And I've done a whole bunch of path textures and lighting at this point. And I've built some custom trees. Obviously, those are all things that I'll be doing plenty of from here on out. But yeah, after a little editing magic, kind of give you the updated list. We'll leave the Jungle Mountain and the Pirate Cove, which we'll revisit at some point. But like I said, that'll probably be something for next season. And yeah, the Elven and the Dwarven Caves will each get a nice little section of this season, an episode or two. And I want to build a winter area, which I've got kind of an area picked out at least, and we'll spend a couple episodes there. And of course I want to stay in the treehouse area, and I want to do a fall build in there, and that'll be, I think, next episode. And the tree farms that we're going to detail are just kind of all the big tree cutting areas I've got out here, and that'll be a big project we do over time. And the underwater storage and the jungle bay village, or projects that we'll kind of be focusing on if we're in the spawn area for this season. And we're going to get started on the underwater area today. And yeah, we'll probably build up the jungle over here a little bit and just kind of complete the bay. It's kind of my goal for this season. Another thing I want to do is kill the wither and get a beacon. I've only done that one time before. And then I've got a couple mega projects, a castle and a mountain. I'm going to do both eventually. I got to pick which one I do first, and a lot of that kind of depends on how long we stay in the other areas, whether I get going on either of these at this point. And creeper farm as well. I got a question mark by that just because I'm not really an AFK guy, but I do like the idea of putting a creeper farm, or at least a mob farm, in like a hot air balloon over the villager area. So yeah, kind of broad on the tasks there. I can get more specific maybe on the backside, but for now I'm feeling pretty good about it. But I'm looking forward to getting a start on at least the concept of our underwater area here. And the thing that prompted my idea for building down here is to get my first main storage area inside the walls here. But for this episode, we're just kind of focusing on getting the oceanscape figured out, I guess you would call it. Starting by having to use a whole bunch of the sand we had just gathered. I knew I was going to have to use a little bit, but I thought there was more sand here already, but that's alright. Spent a bunch of time digging some things out and just getting organized and connecting the sand all the way to this area over here, which already was sand and already has the good ocean vibe going on. So yeah, I'm looking forward to building this area up. And you start by just getting the model for the actual buildings going, and it's going to be very similar to the Elven Cave actually as far as the color palette. I guess in the Elven Cave it's a different color trim, but same colors, same blocks. But I think it looks nice, and I wanted to go with the white just because I thought it pops in the water so nicely, especially when I get it lit up. Yeah, it just really stands out down there, especially when you get out of the water. I think that looks awesome, so I'm really looking forward to expanding on that. But yeah, we're eventually just gonna kind of build a village down here. So, you know, when I'm doing something like that, I always start out with a path. So put in a good amount of work getting a path laid out here. I'm going with the bricks just because I think they pop really good, and they go really well with the copper we got going, actually, I thought. Kind of use that for the trim. Go around and get it lit up a little bit. Hide some jack-o'-lanterns with some slabs just to really get the area lit up well. And I was just getting more and more excited for this project as we were going here. And got spreading the coral around, which was nice that the bone meal spread as coral down here. I didn't realize it was going to do that. And then put in a couple little towers of coral there. I think it's looking awesome down here, and I wanted to get an entrance into this building, so I built off to the side a little tower here, and ended up being a really cool addition because I ended up putting this little glass dome roof on top, which ends up looking really cool from the top, as you might imagine. And I wanted to get the water out of the middle there, so I blocked off the floor and then just filled the dome up from the top, and then when I cleared the wood out, it would take the water out. Just because it was going to look a lot cooler to have it open in here and the light inside. It'll look a lot cooler from the outside, and it'll just be cooler, and I'll have to do that to the whole building here eventually. But oh man, it's coming out so much cooler than I was even imagining, and I'm really looking forward to expanding on it, and we'll do a little bit more of this episode. I'm not going too heavy on the details. I honestly wasn't even planning on building this episode, so this is all a bonus. But the main thing I wanted to do this episode was some gathering, and I've found that oak wood and birch wood are two types that I've kind of wish I had more of, so I came out here to where I'm going to be eventually making the path over to the treehouse area and just kind of chop trees along the way, figuring I'm going to need to do that eventually. Might as well have that be one of the way I get a little wood right now. did make our way all the way out to the treehouse area, but I figured just to be efficient, I would go ahead and use my tree farms that I got all set up. So I came and chopped down my whole oak forest I had up here. And of course replanted everything so I can come do it again in another time. And it's actually looking really cool up here with no trees. That's one cool thing about our tree areas here, and that's why I look forward on detailing all the different individual areas. So I also cleared the birch area. Like I said, those are just two wood types that I'm finding I don't have a lot of. I tend to have a lot of dark oak and spruce, but I still chopped some dark oak while I was up here, mainly just because I'm trying to get some saplings to spread the trees up here, but they just don't drop very well. Got a couple stacks of acacia wood as well, which is a wood type I don't use enough, mainly trying to use it just as the log types and use it as a gray with all the stones. I always think it looks nice, but I just never think of using it, so that's something I need to do. But yeah, we got a shulker box and then some full of logs and combined it up with what we had at our main base here. Then I went back to my starter base since I knew there was a little bit in there, just because I wanted the satisfaction of having a full double chest of logs. So yeah, we're slowly but surely getting some materials gathered up. I know it's not a whole lot, even at this point, for as long as I've been in this world, but I am going to do a little off camera as well. And after a little bit of healing up my shovel here, another area that I've been getting a bottleneck at is dirt. I've been using lots of dirt because I end up doing lots of terraforming, and I've been wanting to clean this area out and open it up to the ocean over there. Plus it'll create a new little island here for us to build on at some point. This is always kind of a fun project and satisfying project to do. Once again, killing creepers whenever I can to try to build up some gunpowder. But I hadn't quite gotten enough dirt yet, so I just kept on shaping things a little bit, and it definitely looks better to have it not be completely flat. So I went ahead and headed over to this area, which we did in season 1, and did the same thing. Just brought it down one level, but definitely looks better and a good way to get a good amount of dirt. We end up getting a double chest by the end. And yeah, I realize for those who didn't watch Season 1 or my world tour aren't aware of the jungle mountains that we found, and this is the whole reason I chose this seed. So I thought we'd do a nice little flyby here. It's pretty crazy I haven't built here yet, but I actually like that because I won't feel like this world's done until I've built here, so the longer I can hold off. In this little area I plan on building a little pirate cove in of some kind. I think this is a real cool rock formation. But the reason I came out here was mainly to get some mud, but while I was here, go ahead and chop a few mangrove trees, even though they're the worst to chop. It's always nice to have some mangrove wood, and I was going to be using some mangrove roots here really soon. Like I said, the main reason I came was to get some mud, but unfortunately my shovel was already pretty broken and cut my trip a little short. I ended up not getting quite a full double chest by the end, but I'm feeling pretty good about where I'm at with materials at this point. So I went ahead and just got back down underwater and just expanded this area out a little bit, all the way across the bay pretty much. Extended the path and added the coral. Tried to do some angles on this one. You gotta kind of use some building blocks to make it work because the coral can't stick to the side of itself. And I think getting interesting shaped coral looks cool. Go ahead and get this building built up as well. Hide our lighting around. And I did find a few pickles. I knew I had them hiding somewhere, and I found them in a random chest. So I did use some pickles, which are cool because they're kind of a duller lighting, and I actually like the darkness mixed in with the lighting there. I think it looks really cool, and like I said, this whole thing is just coming out so much cooler than I planned on, especially right when you go underwater and you get that... I'm not going to try to... You saw it, but you get that really clear look. And I think that's what it'll look like when I get a conduit over here, which is really going to make this area cool. And yeah, it's just got really cool landscaping down here, I guess you would say, and will be fun to expand on, even though I do like it just kind of dropping off into the abyss there. And obviously, I'm not going too far with details. Like I said, I wasn't even planning on building this episode at all, so this is all kind of a bonus, but it does have me excited to come down here. And like I said, this is going to be our storage area, and I'm going to expand on it quite a bit and try to have it be a really cool, big, detailed storage area. And the view out of the glass is just awesome. The way the underwater looks when you're looking through glass is just really cool. And especially when I get builds out here and kind of have a little village built up, the potential for this is just awesome. Definitely be the coolest storage area I've ever built, and I'm just really excited for it. Go ahead and head up for one last look from up here, and yeah, at nighttime it just really pops, and it really makes our area just feel a lot bigger. But yeah, with that, I'm going to go ahead and call it an episode here. As always, I really appreciate you all for coming. The support's been awesome on Season 2 here, and I'm really having fun. So yeah, thanks again for coming, and have a good day.